Hey guys, Caveman here, and Weasel is right across from me, and we are getting ready to do a retro gaming N64 with a. I'll let you take over from this part. I don't know the link.
Yeah, we're kind of just going to explain how we're going to achieve what we're going to eventually do, which is we want to start streaming retro games from the original hardware. It's a big rabbit hole, but I think we're very close to it. Actually, we're there. So basically what you're looking at here, okay, so I'm going to say like I want to hook up the Nintendo 64 to a modern television, right? Now, the 64 normally would output with the composite, the yellow, white, and red cables. Most modern TVs don't even have that connection anymore. You said yours actually does have that connection though, right?
I have like a converter for it, like it has like composite links and it connects to something in the back,
Okay.
but yeah, traditionally now they're just HDMI and that's it.
It's a very shoddy connection too. It's a very blurry, especially now if you got a CRT television, the old box style TVs, they look okay with the composite. On modern TVs, they don't really know how to scale the image correctly. They don't. It looks really bad. The thing is about the Nintendo 64, and this is one of the reasons I chose the Nintendo 64. I wanted to see what this could do. More on that later. But the problem is with the 64. Here's another issue. It only does composite NS video, which is a lower quality signal. This one's been modded for RGB, which is the highest possible signal quality you can get from Nintendo 64. So I have that modded. Okay, so one of the reasons I chose the Nintendo 64 to try this first with the Ossc is because if any of y'all remember correctly, the 64, while it was good in our childhood, but if you've hooked it up recently at all, it does not look as good as you remember. What do you think, Dalton? You said, have you tried it lately?
Yeah, there's been so much stuff come out for like Super Nintendo, Nintendo. It's like everything still has like good, but like, yeah, 64 games just look.
They don't hold up.
Blurry. Even like the ones that had like that little hard drive thing that goes into the front of it, like the case.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like an issue when it first came out.
Majora's Mask, wasn't it the first game that used that little graphics process, little red processor here?
Yeah, it went right there in the front, and
yeah.
I think it was Donkey Kong 64 is the one that actually came with it, or
I know Majora's Mask required it.
Yeah, maybe it was like that Rose Squadron game.
Yeah,
I know there was a game that like it came with it, and like obviously you had to, you know, it was required, but like later on games just required it because it just.
But I say so. There was a lot of weird things about this. Has also been modded. There's a lot of weird things about the 64 too. They had a special anti-aliasing feature that would blur the image to make the lines smoother, and that makes it even worse on new TVs. That feature has also been turned off. I have a switch on here to turn that off. So all the things that could possibly make the 64 look bad, I have turned those features off, and I've modded it to play on this guy right here. This is a Ossc. This allows you to hook up retro gaming systems to your modern TV to scale it properly, because your TV doesn't have the proper internal scalers. So you can make this image one time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, or 5 times. This is a 4K TV. We're going to run it 5 times on it, so it should look very good.
Yeah, I need to point out this is yeah, this is a modern one. This is a LG OLED 4K BX model.
I think that's what you told me.
Yeah, got it last year, but yeah, that's what we're using. So it's not like we're just using like a run-of-the-mill HD TV. So
no, we want to look good as possible. We're wanting to stream this stuff. We want it to be as close as possible to the original hardware, but at the same time, some of the limitations of the original hardware that I didn't like the blur and the non-RGB output of the N64. So now the thing is about this thing, it accepts a few different inputs. We have component, which is the red, green, blue connection, and VGA. So we can use the Dreamcast with this as well. Make the Dreamcast look really good. And the connection I'm using though, that I'm going to use on this is a Euro SCART cable. Now here in America, we didn't really ever get these. This was something that was in Europe specifically. It sends the signal, whether it's a composite signal, RGB, whatever the signal is, it would send it. A lot of systems are capable to output this naturally, even though they were released here and there. Our TVs always had the RF, which is a terrible connection, and it had the composite signal and sometimes component. In the systems, a lot of them, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, they were able to output this connection. Problem was, TVs couldn't accept it. Well, I've got the cable. This actually come from Insurrection Industry, which makes the SCART cables. You just got to keep up with them if you're wanting to go through this route to get these connectors. They're not too bad price, but it's definitely worth it. Sends the best signal. I use these actually on a it's called a PVM monitor. It's a CRT, old school CRT, and that's what I normally use these for.
With those, like, you have to buy one for every system pretty much if you're going down that route, right?
You do.
Oh, okay.
So I got a switcher for it too. So I think this is one of the cheaper companies. There's 2 or 3 out there though. But you're looking, I think these are cheaper though, but I know usually you spend around between $30 to $60, $70 per cable. So it can get expensive. But if you want the best high quality experience you can possibly imagine, this is the way to go and get you a PVM monitor, professional broadcast monitor. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about hooking this up to this. So yeah, I've got the Ossc, the cable, I've got the Nintendo 64. We're gonna see how it looks.
All right, see you in just a bit.
All right, so this is a closer look at the Ossc. These are the component cables, which you can use. I mean, if you got it's great for a PS2. That naturally outputs component. You can hook this into this, play some of PS2 games. This is the SCART connection. So this is the SCART cable, and that's just going to plug directly into there. And then we'll have an HDMI going out right here to the television. And this thing right here, the thing about this, there are more simple options out here. This is one of the most reasonable options as far as price point. But there's a lot of various settings. I'm not going to go over all that, of course, on this video. But there's a lot you can do with this. VGA connection, on and off switch. But yeah, it's like a little Frankenstein monster or something, you know?
Yeah, I think this is comparable, like the Framemeister. This is like one thing we were talking about, and like
Framemeister's a lot more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, the RetroTink 5X had just come out. We tried getting that one, but we couldn't get our hands on it. They kept selling out.
Yeah.
So we went with this. You know, it's a little bit more reasonable option. So I don't know. I think it's going to do great for what we need. So.
And the other stuff that comes with it, you got a remote for it and all too, and
yeah, various plug-ins for different regions. So yeah.
Your AC adapter and all too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get this started and we'll record our reactions and get some footage. All right. All right. So we got it plugged in. We started Mario 64, and we're just kind of seeing what's up.
It's really cool because it's not blurry, but it's extremely pixelated. We've completely blown up these pixels to really large size. There's no blur going on.
Like if you can see his string on his fishing rod, it's just like kind of pixelated.
Yeah.
Like to me, like I kind of like that look, but like, yeah, it kind of gives like this old school vibe to it, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can kind of see it. It's probably worse on this camera, but man, the blur's gone though. I mean, like it looks, the colors are really vibrant too.
It takes away all the blur. Like I said, that's the, look, like it's literally showing all the pixels.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in on these X's. You can see kind of the pixels going there. Obviously, you can see the Mario with the pixels.
Yeah.
But I mean, it retains the frame rate, and
there's no input lag at all either.
Sorry, my dog was trying to get her in a blanket.
But yeah, I chose the 64 because of the issues that people have always had with the 64, the blurriness.
Yeah,
it just doesn't hold up well. But yeah, it's you know, they just released this for of course on the Switch. They got rid of all the pixels, but this keeps the pixels intact. So it's kind of how you remember it. But
even like this is kind of like a
hey,
picture.
why can't I do the long jump? Oh, I did it. Okay.
Might just be rust.
Yeah, apparently it's controller stuff. It's a third-party controller.
Yeah, I know. So I was playing that on the, what was it, the Switch, the 3D All Stars or whatever.
Yeah.
And I forgot like those basic stuff. Once I did it again, it was like nothing though.
But yeah, I mean, it looks kind of like how I imagined it would look. I mean, you got to think this thing is not doing anything. Now, I will say that you can add features on this. Like if you like scan lines, you can add scan lines with this to make it even look more like, you know, a retro gaming experience.
So basically what we're looking at now is just kind of like the default settings, I guess.
It is, and it's also, I don't think their aspect ratio is completely correct either. But you can do a lot with this that I've not even began to mess with. But as I said, I mean, we've got this blown up on this is a 55-inch screen.
Yeah.
And the blur is gone. So if you hated the 64 because of the blur, like, you know, this is the route to go.
I mean, you're gonna still get pixelation with like older stuff. I mean, even like PS1 and
it's gonna be there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just how the graphics were built back then. I mean, it was all bits and stuff, you know, and
yeah,
I guess that's how it works. I don't know.
Yeah,
I do notice like the I mean, I'm looking at like the camera recording this, and then the, you know, this, like the screen is darker.
Then what? Yeah. What your recording's darker than what it actually is?
Yeah, so I don't want to mention that too, but obviously that's probably something you can fix with the TV setting. Yeah. Man, we'll stick it to him. He's like kind of like the first boss in this game, ain't
he? Yeah. But I don't know, it's interesting. I personally like it. I think it's neat. And like I said, this is literally I love a lot of the games for the 64, but this has always been the one thing, like, it's always been so hard for me to go back and play this system because it just doesn't look as good as I remember it, you know?
Yeah.
But looks good though. I don't know.
I guess we'll finish this boss off and try another game just to see if we still get consistent results.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Alrighty. Get the first star too. And that's like far off. It's like really pixelated.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll do the next one. Alright, so we got our next one we're gonna try out. That was a good timing. Not great time.
Yeah.
Like right when I said it, the logo showed up, so Let's see. Just a.
Did you always call him Link? Huh?
Yeah, pretty much. It felt weird otherwise, you know, like if you call him your real name
I
and
thought they wouldn't meet him while talking.
Oh yeah. Hey, we're back. So there's like a long intro we forgot all about, so we're just recording after that. What did you add to the settings? I don't know if you.
I think I took them off of it. I did add some scan lines to it. Makes the picture a little bit darker, so I just prefer. I feel like if I want scan lines, I'm going to play on original CRT. I'm not a big fan of artificial scan lines. It looked okay on here though, but now my remote, I think the batteries have died. So
one thing I noticed with this map, you can really just tell the pixelation, like with the arrow moving, the parameters of the map.
Yeah.
This one to me seems a little blurry. I don't know.
So?
Yeah, like when I look at it on the phone, like as it's recording, it doesn't look as bad. When I look it out there, it looks kind of.
I'm telling you, this is the best possible image. This is the reason I chose the 64. I think it looks pretty good, but man, I give you a shield and stuff.
I mean, yeah, it definitely looks better than the old 64, but this one's still kind of.
I mean, you can try and try and try, but the 64, you'll never get it looking perfect. Really, the only way to make it look like what you want it to look like is literally emulate it. But if you're wanting to play original hardware, it's about as good as it's going to get.
Well, like, I mean, look at maybe it's just the grounds and stuff like that. Like the grounds and the walls, like they look real.
Oh yeah, that's just the art in it. I don't think that's actual.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's just like when I look in the distance, it's worse. And I guess it's just because you're in an area like that.
Yeah. See?
There's that fog too. Like it's always foggy in a 64 game.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it runs good and everything too, but I mean, and this definitely looks better than the 64.
That's something. Oh, that's something you come back and plant the seed. Oh yeah. I remember now.
But
yeah, I mean it's definitely an improvement, but I mean if you really want to play, I mean you can even like they've got these titles available. What did it come out for the DS?
Yeah, like this one. This is 3DS like remastered.
And then they had the Majora's Mask remastered, which are both fantastic remakes.
Yeah. 64 never really had one. They had our Mario 64. It was 3D All Stars basically. It's like, oh no, there was one on DS, but like it was like the one that had like where you could play as Wario and Yoshi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's impressive. It's going to help with our streaming. I don't know that we've got any 64 games planned to stream right away. We got a few PlayStation titles we're going to be streaming, so you know, I think it's going to look really good. I think the 64 is just one of those systems. You're never going to get it to look like you thought it looked like when you were a child.
yeah.
I mean, this is about as good as it's going to get, unless you're emulating or playing some of the remakes. But I still like it. I like the pixelated look. I mean, some people may not. What do you think? Do you like the pixelated look?
I do. I thought Mario 64 looked a little better, but like I like it here too. I mean, it's just kind of reminds me of old school because I mean, you know, we grew up playing Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like the original Nintendo, and you know that's all it was pixelation.
And to be fair, this is not a fix-all. The OSSC is not going to completely do some kind of magic and make your games perfect looking or make them get rid of all the pixels. That's not what it is. What it does do is scale it properly. So it's taking the image and instead of your TV really doesn't know what to do with the signal. It's scaling it to the size of your TV to make it look playable, really.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to define it.
I mean, it's honestly, I went back and played. I tried hooking these up to modern televisions with the regular composite and stuff, and really, it's not even playable. This is playable. my opinion.
Yeah. It's like that one system's not that big hump.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if we do anything extra, we'll, I guess we'll do a video, pop it on there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, we'll be using this. Like I said, not necessarily for 64 games right away, but we got some PlayStation titles planned. Yeah. Got a big reveal coming up too here soon about some stuff we're going to be playing.
Yeah.
Big time.
So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe and like and comment and all that good stuff.
Love us and yeah, comment some good stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll reply back too. We love getting comments and we love replying.
Especially the ones. All right, guys. See y'all soon.